Welcome to Dongits Model Railway. I got a question in my previous video about what the plan for the scenic level of this layout is. As I was writing an answer, I realised that I never actually explained any of this to this audience. It was all in a forum thread I was using before I started uploading here. I'm a serial planner. Doodling plans for model railways has been a constant thing for me for a long time. I have a folder full of plans that date back through at least 5 different houses. Most of them fit one of two categories: a continuous run layout split across 2 levels with a hidden storage on a lower level, and a terminus to fiddle yard arrangement which follows an around the mountain pattern descending to the point the fiddle yard is again below the landscape. The latter has the advantage of only needing one path up and down, and is sometimes easier to fit in a given space than a continuous run that requires 2 ramps. But despite this, the allure of a continuous run is definitely present, and most of the terminus to fiddle yard plans have some kind of bypass track. I started planning layouts in my study not long after we moved into this house. I did have one abortive attempt to build something in here a while ago, but that failure just convinced me to plan more thoroughly next time. In 2019, I was involved in a project to build a club-style layout at the office of the company I work for. As a group project, this could not be allowed to get stuck in the planning stage. We planned a large, continuous run layout. A single lap of this layout is approximately 38 metres, or about 1.8 scale miles, with a full scenic upper layer, 2 helices, and hidden storage underneath. And working about 2 Saturdays a month, we built 10 large freestanding baseboard frames, laid running surface for the storage layer, and had just started to lay the first bits of track when everything changed. All of a sudden, the office was closed, and I was separated from my model railway project. This was obviously an untenable situation, and something had to be done. I dug up the plans I'd made for this room. I really liked the storage access from this plan, which was a continuous run plan but only had one path between the storage level and the continuous run. I didn't like pretty much any of the scenic area though. I liked the Terminus Station from this plan. However, this wall here was very busy with 3 parallel 2-track lines and a stabling point, and I really didn't like the reversing loop arrangement here. Vertical clearance is minimal and the gradients had to be very steep. Given every freight train would have to run this way, it would preclude electric hauled freight as clearance of pantographs could not be maintained under this bridge. Connecting the storage and terminus together resulted in this plan. It's a slightly unusual plan for me in that it fits both primary patterns at the same time. Trains can get from the storage yard to the continuous run in either direction, and leave from either direction back to the storage yard without having to visit the terminus or go around a reversing loop escape track. But it also fits the terminus to fiddle yard plan too. There were still things I wasn't happy about, but I figured I could fix those later, and action needed to be taken now before things got hard to order. Aside from swapping the type of a couple of points, mainly due to availability issues, Pico were already out of stock of some things even before everyone got told to stay home, and straightening out a dogleg curve which no longer had anything to go around in this new plan, I built the storage layer pretty much as it was in this plan. The visible side of this layout has continued to evolve though. I extended the ramp to the terminus further back to allow greater separation between layers. I swapped the main line and the yard round to get longer yard tracks. This also brought the 4-track bridge back in from this plan. But the bridge now has 2 points on it, and those diamonds would be crossing the baseboard joint onto the lift-out section. I really did try to build it like this. However, I could only find one bridge in the entire country that had 4 tracks between the uprights and points on the bridge, and that was Hungerford Bridge, which is also the station throat for Charing Cross Station in central London, and therefore has some fairly extreme space constraints. 2 looks wrong laser cut bridges later, and I decided the plans simply had to change in this area. This design would have required 3 hand-built curved diamonds, and every single one of them in a hidden tunnel. I wasn't quite ready to make the entire design pivot on successfully hand-building track, and if I was going to hand-build track, I sure as hell wanted it on display so I could show off, not have it hidden in the tunnel. If I couldn't move them off the bridge, perhaps I could at least make sure they didn't cross the centre line. This makes the continuous run a single lead, which kind of works, but I still wasn't happy with. I tried going back to a 2-track bridge and having a double junction either side. This one still requires the hand-built curved diamonds to get right. You can see the idea of the final junction location I settled on forming in this plan though. This plan sees a return to the 4-track bridge, and the 2 double junctions have appeared. Still something not quite right about it though in the way the yard is accessed. This arrangement seems to work better. Eliminating the single slip makes the junction look better. I don't really mind if the yard tracks have a tighter curve to them. I am still trying out things on the plan. What about if I extend the Terminus Station on top, over the filing cabinet? I can't have any points above it because there won't be any vertical clearance for point motors, but it would allow me to run at least one extra passenger coach in all of my passenger trains. I'm not sure I really need that centre road. It doesn't honestly seem to add much operation, and the extra separation between tracks here might allow for some more interesting scenery. I'm still umming and ahhing about whether scissors crossovers are justified here. Perhaps they will drop to being single crossovers in the next iteration. Perhaps that centre line will come back, as I kinda like that 3-point arrangement actually. It was mainly the other end I didn't like. Let me know in the comments what you think about the plans, and where anything can be made more capable, more realistic, or just be tightened up. I did get my sliding workbench installed, and I want to extend the running surface and lay some more track. If you want to see more as I continue to develop and work on my layout, feel free to subscribe. If you like this video, there's a button below for that too. See you next time on Dongits Model Railway.